Okay, Strixhaven Draft. Been doing a good amount of this in preparation for Proto, and want to make more videos, want to make Magic Arena videos, and I think this is going to be a great way to get my eye in a bit more with a bit of Strixhaven Draft. I've turned off the draft helper that you'd normally get from Untapped, just because I think the ratings on those cards are. I'm hoping this is perhaps arrogant. I'm hoping that my knowledge and experience and through testing is going to be more appropriate than those numbers there. So I've started with enough gold and gems for a draft each, and let's hope that we can continue that. Okay, Applied Geometry is a really strong card. 4 mana 6/6 at the the weakest because you can target a land, and which also makes it ramp, which is cool. But it is going like heavily into green and blue. I don't mind doing that. We've got some green and blue cards we could hope to wheel. Maybe just the land if nothing else. Primary Research also really strong. Puts you in like a slower Boros deck. The Boros or low hold decks are incredibly strong. There's a lot of strong white and red cards in this pack. Well, World in the Heat, Injection's okay, Micah's fine, Shattered Acolyte's okay. So it's between taking the strongest card or taking like still a pretty strong card, kind of grindy, but a bit more open. I think I'm going to try a bit more open on this occasion. Can also fit into the black-white decks. Like you don't hate it in a black-white deck, but it's made for red-white really. We see a great 3 mana removal spell. So that's kind of the first thing on our minds. Additive Evolution is a very cracked card. I'm beginning to wish I'd taken the rare in the previous pack and then taken the Additive Evolution and had a field day with it, but here we are. I think we just want the Foolish Fate. Some okay stuff in the back. Maybe Cheerful Osteomancer Wheels. Old Growth Educator is very good too. Look at that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 uncommons in the pack. Jeez. Abigail's very strong. Colossus of the Blood Age is an incredible card. One of the best cards in the set, I think. Obviously a little expensive, but fits into the kind of deck that Primary Research wants our Boros deck to be. Abigail, a good thing for Primary Research to get back, and great for Silverquill decks. So we have taken a black card and a white card. Foolish Fate is decent, like quite good, but I don't know if it's enough to make us want to give up on Boros when we have the Colossus here. We also have Repel Calamity, which is just great. Just great removal in white. Keeps us more open, but I think the thing is if we pass the Colossus, we are passing... It's hard. We're passing like any of these color combinations. I'm going to take the Colossus right now. This is a very strong card. Fracture. Silverquill removal spell that just kills anything. No, Artifact Enchantment or Planeswalker does not kill creatures. Never mind, disregard. It's garbage. Yeah, almost none of those. Any of those 3 types in the set. Elite Interceptor is just a great card. Fits in pretty much every white deck. Is best in Silverquill because you trigger your repartee with it. But you're never sad to see it in your grindier Boros decks either. An easy pickup, I think. Quillblade Laureate is an incredible card for Silverquill. It looks like we were really silly to pick up this Colossus, and actually Silverquill's where we want to be, but that's alright. Snooping Page, another fantastic Silverquill card. Eclipse Mage is alright. Imperious Ink Mage is not good, really. A strong 24th card, perhaps. Masterful Flourish I'm low on, but I think you might just need to play some number of these like 1 mana trigger your repartee effects. It's not the one that you want. You want a dig set inventory if you can help it, but you'll take it. And we have a difficult choice here between Dissection Practice, which is a very good combat trick, triggers all your repartee. Elite Interceptor, which also can trigger repartee and is it's a 1 mana creature. And Rapid Attack is low in ratings, but I think I've definitely seen it overperform, and I've heard it overperform. I think we'll take Elite Interceptor. We don't actually have very much desire for to go heavily in on repartee here, and Elite Interceptor just keeps us a little more open. So GDB on Death is not very good. I don't think. Maybe you could have a... If you drafted a couple Hop to it, I could see the value of this card going way up. Melancholic Poet is very mid, so I'm going to pick up a Fields of Strife. This Colossus it's very splashable, especially if we have a couple decent ways of splashing it. I think I'll pick up a Shattered Acolyte just as a 2-drop. There is a little bit of utility. Having Lifelink means that if you're buffing it with some of your repartee triggering spells, then you can kind of win a race better. Cheerful Osteomancer is fine. It's not necessarily what this kind of deck wants, but we're not playing any of these other cards. We may as well send the signals. Oh, this is a difficult choice between the Cost of Brilliance and the Terramorphic Expanse. I think the Cost of Brilliance, the triggering your repartee with this, can be really important. Because we've got the Colossus and I really do want to splash it, I'm going to pick up the Terramorphic Expanse. Obviously, sorry, perhaps not obvious actually, is that Silverquill, as a thing we were discussing in our paper draft last night in the team, was that the black-white decks especially seem to have very demanding color requirements. And you struggle to hit all of your colors on curve. Because you've got no fixing in black and white either. No fixing spells at least. So you end up really struggling to hit your like double whites, your double blacks, conciliatory duelist, your double white and double black. That is a challenge. This sail is annoying me. I'll take a Masterful Flourish. So that's a kind of nice wheel. Oh, Cauldron of Essence is an incredibly powerful card. We're not in on this strategy at all, but I would love to do a draft with this at some point. Daydream's okay. I don't know if we're... Actually, we have a few like creatures that enter prepared that would be good to just re-trigger with the Daydream, and we have the Colossus as well. That's kind of crazy. I think Dig Site Inventory is usually the better card. But we kind of have a deck that's actually leaning us towards Daydream a little bit more. Interesting rather. On the flip side, perhaps it wheels. There's not many decks are going to want this. And I think I'm going to take the Daydream. We can hope against hope that the Dig Site Inventory wheels, but it seems unlikely. We have another removal spell, or an Adventurous Eater. So we'll take the good removal spell here. There's kind of a little bit of nice synergy between our Shattered Acolyte and the Foolish Fate, and can perhaps make us a little more aggressive. Not the best pack for us. And you know, when we're thinking about wheels, we're looking at maybe the Ajani's Response. I guess Adventurous Eater it's kind of glue. It kind of helps fit the deck together. I think this Cheerful Osteomancer is perhaps not being played, although we are gearing up for a much grindier deck than Silverquill normally is. Silverquill's normally quite aggressive. We have a choice between a third Elite Interceptor or a Last Gasp. And I think the way that this deck is shaping up, we actually seem to be somewhat grindy. Like this is a bit more of a control deck so far than Silverquill normally is. Which makes me think the Last Gasp might actually be better here. Yeah. I suppose in that grindier deck, like maybe the Cheerful Osteomancer can shine. So we can take one of these splash cards out of them. I think Unstable Mockery is probably the best one for us. We can't very reliably trigger the Wilt in the Heat's cost reduction, so you're just looking at 4 mana deal 5, whereas we have 3 mana deal 4 right there. I think Stargaze is quite bad, and I think Masterful Flourish we just don't need. So I think I will take a Unsubtle Mockery. We see another pack that is not incredible for us. Poisoner's Apprentice is like a good card, but you really need to be able to trigger that life gain, and we're not necessarily going to be great at that. We can't expect this Shattered Acolyte to do all the work for us. We have no ways of making pests or anything like that. So it's not incredible, but I think I'm going to take an Ajani's Response. And again, I think Silverquill is normally quite aggressive, but I think our build is perhaps not. And maybe that's a sign that our build's not very good, but if that is the case, then Ajani's Response gets a lot better when you're in a more controlling deck and you're not the one doing the swinging. A lot of Muse Seekers going around. I'll pick up an Eager Glyph Mage. Fits into... oh, I don't want to leave the draft table. I want to look at my deck. Fits into our curve quite nicely. Slows the game down a little bit. Makes a body. All good stuff. Okay, we see some interesting cards. Scathing Shade Block allows you to trigger your repartee every turn. I think we've got 0 cards with repartee currently. Oh, Snooping Page. Is that it? So obviously that is a bit less of a... It's a bit less necessary for us. It is a bit of good top end. It's a quite decent card. I am going to take it over the 3rd Elite Interceptor, but I would not be sad about having a 3rd Elite Interceptor either. I'll pick up a Hop to it. I was saying something works well with Hop to it earlier, wasn't I? Was it a card that we didn't pick? Yeah, we just don't really want any of these cards, so let's grab a Mage Tower Referee in case we're short of 2 drops. Let's grab a Forest just to send the correct signals. We already have a Masterful Flourish. I'll pick up a Rancorous Archaic in case something goes crazy in pack 3 and convinces us that we really need to be playing a bunch of slop. Return the Favor, not bad in the Prismari decks, but not really what we want here. Okay, interesting. We see Graduation Day, which is a fantastic card for Silverquill decks generally, but we're not super in on like being aggressive, getting a bunch of +1/+1 counters going and stuff like that, which puts me off of it slightly. I think Aziza is definitely not a card that you're happy to be splashing for. I think we still pick it up. Maybe we can get some kind of mid-range stuff going on. It just helps our creatures scale out a bit, and we have a lot of ways of triggering repartee. So that's good. I think Group Project's pretty fantastic. You make a 2/2, and you can make another one if you have 3 creatures. Seems like a good way to make some blockers, get ahead on the board. Just make combat maths difficult for our opponents until we can start triggering repartee and landing our bigger spells. Seems good. We see another removal spell in Stand Up For Yourself, another removal spell in Last Gasp, and a Forum Necroscribe. Okay, so this could very much be the answer to the question: how does a Silverquill control deck win the game? It wins the game by every time you trigger repartee, reanimating something. We don't have that. I mean, you can literally just reanimate a Colossus with it. I think we'll try this. No, we're gonna take the Stand Up For Yourself. We're gonna take the Stand Up For Yourself, and we're gonna take the Snooping Page. I would like the Necroscribe to wheel. I wanted to see how much removal we've got. So let's just use some of our extra pick time here to try and get a sense of that. So we have the Last Gasp over here. We have this Unsubtle Mockery if we want to play it. We have 2 Foolish Fates. That's the... I remembered having a bunch of removal. It's the 2 Foolish Fates, I think, that I'm kind of thinking of. Alright, we've got some packs to get through. We have a Forum Necroscribe here. We also have an Inkling Mascot and a Forum of Amity. I think just having pips might be more important here. We have the potential for this to wheel. We have the other Forum Necroscribe could potentially wheel. I don't think we're a deck that necessarily needs the Inkling Mascot. Just the way we're shaping up. We are light on 2 drops, but we're going to try and make that work. Expressive Iteration. Prismari players are getting hooked up. We'll grab a Melancholic Poet out of that potential need for 2 drops. Killian's Confidence. Killian's Confidence is normally really good, but we don't actually have much repartee to trigger. Is this card good when you're not triggering repartee? That's an interesting question. Or do we just take an Inkling Mascot? I think we just take an Inkling Mascot. I think we just want the 2 drops. We have the ways to trigger repartee. Lovely little Fields of Strife. Our splash is going well. Pick up a Mage Star Referee. I'm just going to get through the packs a little bit. Don't really need to worry about signals once you're in pick 10 of pack 3. Could Forum Necroscribe wheel? Last Gasp has wheeled. That's a bit of a surprise. So we were passing a lot of Prismari cards, but I think every time we passed a Prismari card, there was like a card for our deck we weren't sad to pick. I don't think it was necessary to pivot, but I could be wrong in that. We have 4 lands currently, so this is 25 cards, 2 cuts. Very interesting. Picked up another Chief Osteomancer, that's not bad. But we didn't get the 4 Necroscribes, and that's okay, because Chief Osteomancer is like a Necroscribe. You just have to pay the mana to cast the card. Right. Let's have a look then. And is there anything in our sideboard? Like, we could be, if we're really trying to grind out, pull from the grave, plays into that, but I think if that's the case, you just play the second Chief Osteomancer, and I'm not sure that we're going to be doing that. I don't think Rancorous Archaic is where we want to be. I think we have ended up with a mana base that can support the Colossus of the Blood Age splash. Can it support the Unsubtle Mockery as well? We have currently like 5 red sources. 4 red sources rather. I think that means we don't love it, and we're actually not that short of removal. So I think, you know, by turn 3 are we likely to have it? Maybe not. By turn 6, it's looking a bit more possible. I think we don't have enough repartee stuff that we really care about the Masterful Flourish, so I think we can take that out. Quillblade Laureate is looking a bit weaker in this deck than in most Silverquill decks, but it's a 2-drop and it threatens to win the game in combination with cards like Graduation Day. And, you know, if you give Double Strike to Snooping Page? If you give Double Strike, yeah, it's Double Strike Snooping Page. That's a very strong combo. I don't tend to love Melancholic Poet, but I am loath to cut 2 drops from this curve here. And it could just help us, that life gain could just be enough to help us eke out into the later game. Primary Research is actually looking weaker than we'd like. So this is 5 mana, like, Reanimate. It's a 5 mana Unearth draw card, I think, because we have very few ways of making a card leave the graveyard. We have Daydream, which can flash itself back. We have our Chieful Osteomancers can make a card leave the graveyard, so that's not awful. There's a little bit of a combination there. And that's and Group Project flashes back. So there's not a lot there, but there is perhaps enough to make it worthwhile. However, if we're keeping it, then we probably can't cut the Chief Osteomancer. How good is this Scathing Shadelock? we do really want to be triggering the repartee on our snooping pages. And, you know, if we can do that every turn, then we probably kind of win the game. It's got to be something. I don't think it's a land. I think it is perhaps a cheerful Osteomancer. 4 mana 4/2 is probably just not as good as this, you know, 4 mana 4/4 essentially. Hop to it is obviously not doing that much. It's mostly making 3 blockers. That's not good enough, right? Hop to it has no synergy with the deck whatsoever. We can't bring it back at all. We can't really make use of the bodies that much. I think we cut the hop to it. Alright, so this is our deck. Let's do a little check of mana. So we have 15... Oh, does this count pips or does this count cards? I don't actually know. 26, 27. So this must be pips that's counting, because we obviously don't have 27 spells in our deck. 15 white pips, 11 black pips, 1 red pip. So we obviously do want to be heavier on planes. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 essentially here. We have no double white, no double black. But we do have things like Elite Interceptor, which is kind of double white, and Osteomancer, which is kind of double black. 8, 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're currently on, you know, 9 white sources, 9 black sources. But I think we just want 1 more white source than black source. And we're still well suited. What, 10? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, now we have 8. Yeah, this seems fine. I did just say a bunch of numbers there. Okay, we're against Ginger Muncher. Opening hand looks pretty fine. We land a Shattered Acolyte, play a Snooping Page. Like, we do not mind daydreaming our Shattered Acolyte to trigger the repartee on Snooping Page. We even draw our red source for this Colossus. Good stuff. This just seems slightly too loud to me. 1 sec. Okay. We'll swing. We could kill it with a Johnny's Response if we like. But we'll drop the Snooping Page now. The Surveil on these lands is also quite valuable. You see a Hungry Graphalon, and we've drawn a Foolish Fate. So... Okay, so we just kill this. Nice, we get to play our Forum this turn. Means that we get to untap with Dark Mana. I suppose actually I should have waited to draw. It's possible I wanted to like play that, for example. And then we could have played this, and then next turn had the Johnny's Response. They are able to kill our Shattered Acolyte, but that's not the most important card on the board. Let's just swing with the page. We draw another page. Interesting. So it's kind of between having the Scathing Shadelock or like Graduation Day and Snooping Page. I think this is a bit more mana efficient. And obviously once this is online, we have the ability just to have an unblockable 4/3 every turn. Oh boy. Our opponent passes. So we should probably be aware of a concession. Alright. Well, obviously the deck looked great there. But, I'm not sure that's going to be the most representative game in the world. Opening hand against Rajan. Definitely a keep. You know, we have lands and spells, and it's not bad. It's not a mulliganable hand really. We can play a card on 1, we can play a card on 2. It seems like we kind of get the chance to take a turn off and play the Forum then. I guess an interesting question is, you know, what is the Elite Interceptor adding to the board by playing it on turn 1? Like 1 damage is not that exciting. Maybe it's better to just get the Forum down. Now that we've drawn this black source though, I think it's a bit less necessary to do that. It looks like taking off turn 3. Yeah, our hand is still saying taking off turn 3 is a very viable play. Okay, our hand is now no longer saying that. Let's just make our 2/2. The second Inkling Mascot has hit the building. Gosh, probably shouldn't use that turn of phrase actually. I sort of forgot the context for that one in the moment. That's not necessarily one that you want to put on YouTube. Okay, we just never need to play the Forum, I guess. Is it worth stand up for? I think we do want to stand up for ourselves in this turn cycle. I'll just say no attacks. I wonder, are we opening ourselves up to any blowouts here? Okay, interesting. Let's let them do their surveils at least. So don't give them that information. Wow. Civilian group project into the yard. Wow, you. And a Johnny's response. So they're not concerned about removal. I guess they don't think that we're going to swing anytime soon, which is a pretty fair assessment. Let's get rid of this 3/3. I assume they're going to take our Shade Lock, although if they take our Shade Lock, we kind of just get back with the Osteomancer, so maybe they take the Osteomancer. The Osteomancer is also our play for next turn, so it does set us back a fair bit. And they get in for 4. And we draw a Terramorphic Expanse, which is not particularly where we want to be. Let's get in for 2. Untap this. I think we should have gotten in for 3 and then untap the Elite Interceptor because it would be chump blocking if anything. Unless we draw another Elite Interceptor, in which case, of course, we can do this. Then flashback the group project. Land the Forum. Set up for next turn playing the Scathing Shadelock. Maybe we just want to dig for removal, because that Inkling Mascot threatens to be a lot of damage in the near future. So they're not giving us the option to dig for removal. A very aggressive bit of Triumph, but one that I do agree with. Stone Dawson in the graveyard. They have their flashback dig site inventory. They're electing to use now. I think this means they probably have another way of triggering Repartee in hand. Unless they just really wanted the Vigilance here, but they should be looking at how many turns till lethal. We draw a Plains, which is not awesome. There's a couple different ways to go about this. We can just play the Scathing Shadelock. I kind of think the game all comes down to whether or not we can kill that Inkling Mascot. And I think with that in mind, we just need to play the land and surveil. So that's our line here. Okay, they cannot trigger Repartee this turn then. So we're slightly punished for the line that we've taken here, but we're happy to have got rid of that land, only to draw another land. Obviously they have just put a card in hand, but now we need to be able to deal with both of these things. So I think it's a matter of deck thinning. Oh, is it deck thinning if we just put a plains on bottom? And now we're shuffling it again? I guess not. I guess that one's kind of a wash. Let's call it mana efficiency then. You're saying good game. We have... What do we have? Oh gosh, yeah. Practiced offense. That will certainly do it. Let me get murdered for 1 million. Yeah, unfortunate. I think we took generally the right lines. But unfortunately we only drew 1 removal spell in that game. And 1 was not enough. Maybe Render Speechless is good. Okay, we have the crafty Methriles, the Toff avatar. And oh, I don't know who that is. Is that the name's just not going to Cisse, maybe? Right, opening hand. It has 2 spells that can be cast. One of them can draw a card. We're on the draw. If we get to 3, things are looking pretty good. So I think that one's a keep. You know, we have our 2 main colours. We have a late game bomb. We're against a studious first year. I think we want to play the Field of Strife. Having Elite Interceptor for later actually could be quite important because we just might need to guarantee that card draw. Kind of like that our primary research is set up well to reanimate the snooping page. That's always quite nice. Land a Melancholic Poet. We are top decking lands, which is, you know, we wanted lands, we can't complain. We appear to be against a Sultai deck. Let's get a mountain. Or plains, perhaps? Another forest, okay. Maybe it is just Sultai then. A bit of a slopper. Let's play our land. So not that bothered about doing anything on fall. Let's swing, and if they're giant growth, we have the stand up for yourself. But otherwise, it's the snooping page. Let's see if we can just protect the queen to victory. Seems unlikely because it's going hovered. Stop hovering it. Stop it. Ooh. Just a reader. Just a reader, perhaps. Nope. Nope. Got hovered again. Okay. It's alright, we have the reanimate for it. All is good. And we even hit our 5th land. So the question becomes, do we just hold open the stand up for yourself, or do we draw a card with Elite Interceptor and drain a life, to be fair? I think given that we kind of need to Terramorphic Expanse in order to be able to cast a spell next turn. Because we could even, no, we couldn't really have the best of both worlds. Sorry, the Terramorphic Expanse doesn't come into it. It's 3 either way. Obviously, there is the option of play the Elite Interceptor and the Swamp and hold open the stand up for yourself, but it just means that we don't get to play this next turn in all likelihood. So I think I'm going to hold open the stand up for yourself. Because if they don't play something that we can stand up for yourself, then like I guess we're not very scared. And drawing a card doesn't do that much for us anyway. And also, the Elite Interceptor represents another... Oh gosh, the words are completely... Another repetee trigger for Snooping Page in the near future. If it lives. Runs up to 6 mana. So we could see something scary. They could have their Fractal Mascot. Or they could have a Mind Intermatter for 4. That's a lot of cards to draw. And they get to put something into play. Boy howdy if that ain't something. Okay, so they have not gained life this turn, so we can make them sacrifice something before we kill it. I'm so scared about the we will discard our elite interceptor. So scared about Arena just not giving me priority after the trigger resolves, so just doing that one in response just to make sure. I know I have the stop, I know I could have gone into full control, but this was a way of doing it. Primary research, get our snooping page back. No way to trigger it currently, but we're going to draw a card. No, there's also not a way to trigger it, but there's a way to cast Colossus of the Blood Age, which is a good one. Well, we're not discarding our Colossus. Let's put it that way. Doesn't mean that we have to give them a land, unfortunately, but come see, come sir. Our snooping page is once more out of here. We'll draw a Scathing Shadelock. Well, that could be very nice if it gets to live. Our opponent still has 4 cards in hand, so the odds are not incredible of it living. How many removal spells can you have in the removal spell colours? Tenured Concoctor. And a grapple with death. Okay. Land for this Colossus, please. I'll take it. I'll certainly not complain. Cauldron of Essence. Oh no. They can get their Tragedy Feaster back and never have to sacrifice anything to it. Our Colossus pairs well against the Tragedy Feaster the first time. Unfortunately, it doesn't do so well against it. Oh gosh, it's dead. Oh no. Well, this has been a disaster. We are facing lethal next turn. So we will do this, and we will cast this so that they are forced to block this. And then we're no longer facing lethal at the very least. We'll hold this land in hand in case we do draw a removal spell and we can kill the Tragedy Feaster, but gosh, it ain't looking good. Remember in the draft when I said Cauldron of Essence is very good? Here it is, being very good. There isn't a draw that can make Quillbird Laureate lethal, is there? Oh, this even has Vigilance. Well, it would have been good a few turns ago, but as is, not quite good enough. Alright. I'm not too upset about losing to the Insane Cauldron deck. I don't think that's necessarily an indictment on our drafting or deck building. We do have 2 losses though. I genuinely don't remember one of them. That's worrying. Okay, decent opening hand. Lands and spells, and sort of a plan. The plan is try and draw into something better. And we can stave off early aggression well enough. Mage Tower Referee, that's an interesting one. Cool that our Shattered Acolyte threatens to kill it if it gets too big. but I think as it is, we don't need to respect it too much. I'll offer the trade, but I don't think they'll take it. Oh gosh, they're taking it. Obviously that puts us a card down, but I think we're kind of happy about that. Well, looking at our 2 removal spells in hand. Okay, it looks like me and our opponent might have similar game plans. It's kind of a nice one, but we do need a creature on the board to make use of it. Let's just get that out of here as mana efficiently as possible. That is a great draw. You don't have to tap it just because you targeted it. Putting out a little bit here. Could do with some of our top end. I wouldn't mind a Chief Osteomancer. I'd take this one also. Let's put the counter on the Quillbird Laureate. I think having a threat is more important than pushing damage right now. Building up the Quillbird Laureate to just solo the game, but perhaps it just dies here? It does just die here. It ain't coming back either. Chief Osteomancer is a great draw. We're happy to see that one. Let's swing first. I think we just want to pick up our other Elite Interceptor. That represents another body, another Repartee trigger, and another card draw. Which is all pretty great. We're not going to play it right now, because we really want to make sure that we can get the Rejoinder off. Repel Calamity takes down the Osteomancer. Oh, I'm beginning to wonder if the fact that Osteomancers can chain into each other means that we really shouldn't have cut the second one. We'll look at that in deck building after this game. Our opponent has a Shattered Acolyte, so just get rid of that. Let's drop this snooping page. Get in. And we still have this Elite Interceptor for any blocker. Triggers our snooping page, triggers our graduation day. It's looking good. Okay, that's fine. Alright then, let's... I think getting the counter is more important here than having like the pseudo vigilance. And we draw Foolish Fate, which is nice. So we have a 2-turn clock with a removal spell. Seems like a pretty decent position. Graduation Day has put 3 counters on something. Is that... I mean, 1 mana get 3 counters is quite good. Point in the tank cannot beat the awesome power of 2 Elite Interceptors. Well, they can beat the awesome power of 1 Elite Interceptor. I think it's perfectly good to just throw down this Scathing Shadelock. And then we just need 1 of these creatures to survive and we win the game. Nice. Looks like both of them are surviving, which also wins the game. Let's have a little look at our deck construction again. Did we cut? Maybe we didn't cut an Osteomancer. Do we have to? Oh, we have to. Disregard. Disregard. Yeah, I think I am still overwhelmingly happy with this. Not overwhelmingly. Overall is the word that I meant to say. This one seems to work out, doesn't it? No way to actually trigger the graduation day at current, but once we do, it'll go off. And we have quite a few ways to do that in the deck. Against Void Camp. That's the test from Blade Runner, right? Test if you're a replicant. There's a way to trigger graduation day. Which is not an awful one. But we really want the dream. Is it a dream or is it a meme to daydream the Colossus of the Blood Age? We will swing like a batter. We'll drop a snooping page. And once again, on track to reanimate the snooping page with the primary research. And even potentially draw an extra card from primary research with Daydream later. Oh, buddy. Combo. And this is what makes Silverquill so potent. I get to draw a card each time as well. Oh man. We can daydream the Quillblade Laureate and just kill next turn? That's nutty. Okay. I'm sorry, guy. Look at this. Look at this. Didn't even let me do the thing. That's fine. I don't mind. I think it's the right move. You've saved us all some time, but what a draw. What a draw. Silverquill. Silverquill. Okay, this opening hand is not fantastic. It does have all of our colors of mana, a spell that can be cast on turn 2. It's I think this is you can't mulligan it, but you're not happy about keeping it either. I think it's probably better than a 6, but like not by much. But you know, we're a slow deck, so we're not looking to drop a bunch of things early. The Johnny's response works well if, like, this can take our 3-drop slot, that's fine. They can play something here and then attack with it next turn. Or that can take our 3-drop slot. I think in this situation, if they just offer the trade here, I'll take it. If they make it bigger, I'll kill it. If they do nothing, like, I wouldn't say I'm sad, but it's one of the worst situations for me. They cast a Scolding Administrator, and they do offer the trade. So this moves its counters. Okay. So I want to Ajani's response this. Ooh. Do I want to just get this Scolding Administrator off the board now so that I don't have to worry about its counters? Or do I want to cast the Eager Glyph Mage and flashback the group project? That's quite a difficult choice. I think we go for the Glyph Mage and flashback the group project. Because 2 options exist. Either like they play more creatures and this kind of does nothing. We will have to deal with it later. Or hopefully they just kind of pump this and make it bigger. Oof. That's a good one. That needs to die. Daydreaming Glyph Mage is not awful, but it's not an incredible player either. Osteomancer's not really doing anything, but it is like more mana efficient to just cast it. I think unfortunately that counts for something. Oh. I suppose daydreaming the Glyph Mage and flashing back the Daydream as well means that we have 3 blockers for the Scheming Silvertongue. Which, if it stays at 3 toughness, would be alright. Okay. I think they've anticipated a trick. I think this was a kind of a bad attack, but it's an attack that didn't make sense unless I have a trick. Oh, that is rough. That is rough. Please pump the Scheming Silvertongue. I'll tell you what, I'll absolutely trade with the Administrator, put the counters on the Silvertongue and then kill it. That'd be very good for me. Scheming Silvertongue, an A or A+ card, I think. Just really warps the game around itself if you can't kill it and is a very respectable body by itself. Interesting. Alright, we're going to snap off a triple block here. In case they had something. Put your counters on the Silvertongue. Put your counters on the Silvertongue. Excellent. Alright. This position feels okay. Does Osteomancer pick up Glyph Mage? And then we have Flashback Daydream on the Osteomancer in future. Although I don't mind, I'll snap off a trade here. Nice. Let's get this shit locked down now. The Inkling Mascot makes me want to cast a Repartee spell every turn so we can start setting up the top of our deck. Our position feels better, right? We have essentially 3 cards in hand. And they have 1. They are getting to Surveil, they have a slight mana advantage. That's a good one. That's a very good one. So they now essentially have a Phyrexian Arena. Sort of just little we can do about that. If we remove the Inkling Mascot, hopefully that means they'll not have the creatures to... Oh, we can just block. We can block and that stops them from getting the Killian's Confidence back. That is important, actually. We're happy to snap off this block. So they have the Rejoinder, which means they can get this flying again. Yeah, we sort of stopped them from casting the rejoinder that turn as well. We sort of denied them a bit of tempo there. This game's shaping up to be really interesting. Well, let's fetch first, because if we decide that we do want to surveil, we don't want this getting in the way of it. It looks like we have 3 white sources, we may as well have a 3rd black source. So some options here, for sure. If we cast the Eager Glyph Mage, like the Inkling Mascot is still getting in anyway. So the question is, which do we care about more? Setting up the top of our deck or just having more bodies on board? I think setting up the top of our deck is kind of better right now. Osteomancer loops, but doesn't deal with the problem that we've got. Because they're going to have Killian's Confidence every turn. So we actually just don't want that. Which feels very weird. We have more pressure, I suppose. But they will start burying us in cards if we don't either close out the game fast or deal with the situation. It would be such a mistake for them to... Oh, they could flash that back and then rejoin to untap the Inkling Mascot, swing, get back the Killian's Confidence. That's not bad. That's an okay turn. Okay, but don't go for that. Well, this is kind of worse, right? Because now they have to choose, like they don't get the flashback. The group project this turn, so they're just playing less on the board. If we draw a land, we can at least go Glyph Mage Daydream, and it's something. It puts some bodies on board. Have they drawn something that costs 2? Like, do they have a last gasp? I'm trying to figure out whether they want to hold that up. Okay, Snooping Page is a great card. The Unblockable will help us to close out the game very well. Primary Research. Gosh. Just doesn't... Well, I mean, it actually doesn't reanimate anything here, so I think that makes it a pretty easy... Let's get rid of that. Swing for 8. 4 of it they can't block. So Snooping Page, if we cast it now and say that the board doesn't change, then we'd have 6 power that can't be blocked. But like, that's just not enough, right? I think actually we do this. They don't have the rejoinder anymore, so this actually shuts down the Killian's Confidence loop. Melancholic Poet. Was that what they were considering over bringing back Killian's Confidence last time? I mean, on 9's actually huge. Yeah, so I just don't want them to get that spell back. Okay. This one, this is an interesting game. Okay. Not what we love to see. We have flashing back the Daydream. Oh, they're forced to block here. What we got? Field of Strife. Get that one out of here. So we swing for lethal. They're forced to block. We take 7. We're on 16. We're doing so fine, actually. Do we ever need to worry about a board wipe? Like if they have the kill 4 things spell, that'd be a hell of a way to go. Can we ever beat that though? I don't think we do, because even if they don't kill 4 things, they still reanimate 4 things. So. Oh no, I'm not giving it on my Repartee because I have the Skaven Shadelock for Repartee next turn. I now have a Last Gasp on the top of my deck as well. Oh, I did forget that Daydream gives a +1/+1 counter. I actually completely forgot that this entire game. I wonder if that would have ever changed my play. Okay, they got some triggers. But it's nowhere near enough. I'm afraid. For them. Yeah, you can have their confidence back this time. Another one. Sure. Wow, what a game. That one was very fun. Very back and forth. Very good. 4 wins. This is where I like to consider this is a success of a draft. Anything after this is just gravy. Okay, we're against Vezo. Is this diamond tier? Right. Ooh, opening hand's a little rough. No black sorcerers. We're on the play. Elite Interceptor almost always lives on turn 1. It's only the red like strangle effect that kills it. So we get to draw. We get like 2 or 3 looks at a swamp, or just more white cards. Ooh, yeah, we'll try it. We'll try it. The only thing that can stop a good guy with an Elite Interceptor. Okay, last gasping that is always an interesting proposition. I'm going to swing, so I don't think they'll block. That's crazy that they're blocked. Let's cast a Melancholic Poet. Nothing gets past them. I suppose we're sort of short our hand now. We do not have a combat trick. Oh, well, I mean, that's not entirely true. Oh, whoa. Okay, that is aggressive. Yeah, let's shut that down right now. Because now we've denied them a card draw, like, and a relevant body. To be fair, I would have rather killed that one. Nothing in our bin. Is it very important to get down the second Fields of Strife this turn, or do we just slam an Osteomancer? Or Rejoinder and Shattered Acolyte. Like, the Osteomancer's not doing a great deal. It adds 4 power to the board. Adding 4 power to the board certainly is something. Okay, let's swing. Getting in for one. Yeah, we'll put a 4-power creature on the board. Well, that's certainly a reason not to do things the way we did it. Gosh. For those of you at home that were shouting, "Don't play it," you get blown out by the artistic process. Well done. Well done. You certainly know better than I do. For everyone else, I think we found our third loss, guys. Don't get me wrong, there's draws that bring us back into it, and there's stumbles from our opponent that would be very good. But that ain't one of them. Whoa, and they can flash this back and make a 3/3? Alright. And to be fair, we have the removal. We have the removal. I think we just gotta use it. So they're making a 3/3. With haste. I really wanted them to use the dig site inventory. But we have to use our mana, unfortunately. Chief Osteomancer. Would be great if we had a second Black Source so we could immediately use it, but we just cannot cast this in the face of the Tome Blast. So we're on Surveil. Surveil tech. I guess we will take a Swamp if we see it. The pages are not bad here. Primary Research would probably go pretty hard. Ink-Shape Demonstrator. So there's a reason for them to hold on to the dig site inventory. That is a swamp. We said we'd take it. I am a man of my word after all. But I mean, we're just struggling. They can kill my first Cheerful Osteomancer. They might struggle with the second. And the worst thing is they don't even need to kill it. You can just cast the dig site inventory and I cannot block. Gosh, that artistic process. Whew. Oh, and they've killed that one such that I cannot get it back with the second Osteomancer. Or the first, if you will. Well, I will certainly play the Graduation Day. So I think we need the Elite Interceptor. It's kind of a 2/3. On account of the Graduation Day. But we're taking 5, 6, 7 over the next turn. And that's if they just don't have anything. They have some. Tome Blast can just go face. 5. Oof. Oof. Menace. Well, I'm just dead. I'm just dead, right? Oh, not necessarily. Tome Blast. So that puts me to 3. Oh. Oh, what a messed up combo. I completely forgot that the Rubble Rouser would trigger that. Ooh. Garrison Excavator. Good with just a little bit of setup. No blocks. Do your worst. And by that I mean kill me on spot. 4 wins. Definitely not a disappointment. Let's have a little recap of this deck then. I think it was okay. It was not where Silverquill normally wants to be. And we're running some perhaps slightly below average cards. Like, I think the Chief Velocimancer's maybe a little subpar. Primary Research didn't look great in the deck, but it was okay, I guess. But the deck stood its ground and did okay at a relatively higher level of play and draft. You know, this wasn't the bronze tiers. We never got to Daydream our Colossus of the Blood Age, and I think Dig Site Inventory would have been better than Daydream upon reflection. There was the game we got to Daydream, the Quillblade Laureate, and that was awesome, to be clear. But I think overall, maybe the Dig Site Inventory would have been a little stronger. And I can't remember what we took over the 3rd Elite Interceptor. But I think more Elite Interceptors is maybe just good. But it'll be interesting. I'll review the footage later, perhaps, and maybe have some more thoughts then. But for now, thanks for watching. Let's collect our prizes and go to the next one.